Hi, Chris. Welcome to Careers Beyond Degree. It's a pleasure to have you one more time. And I want to learn so much more about what has happened in the last few months ever since we had the first podcast. So, before we get into any important details, please tell me how's the last few weeks been? What have you been up to lately? I know we have a launch coming soon, but before that, what's going on in your life?
Well, thank you very much for having me back, Shiv. I'm very happy to be back on your podcast. And hello to all of your viewers as well. I was very surprised, actually, after we had our last podcast that it went viral. And
Oh, yeah.
we had, I think, something like 193,000 views. And
It's
that,
close to a 300K now, actually.
is it? It's gone up even
Yes.
further. Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And, it certainly helped my visibility. For Lawyery, it's had a knock-on effect that I think our viewers, our subscribers have gone up to 3K plus on
Wow.
Instagram. And we've only just started Instagram, really. So
Right.
I wasn't expecting that. I mean, nowhere near yours, but certainly it's on its way there, considering we're just lawyers rather than influencers. So that's really good. Went on holiday over the summer, went to Wales, had a bit of R&R, that was nice. And I've been working on some projects. I've got really into AI over the summer and how that could affect lawyers. And as you mentioned, there's a launch coming. We'll be quiet about that at the moment, but it is related to my AI ventures that I've been doing over the summer. And I've been playing around with different ideas. And I'm not a coder myself. I'm a vibe coder. I just use things like Lovable, like Bolt. But I think that there's a revolution happening at the moment where if you can have an idea, you can do something online and launch it yourself. It might not be 100% polished, but you can get an idea out there, and that's the important thing, I think, at the moment.
How important do you feel AI is for your industry? Do you think it has changed stuff massively?
Yeah, I think law is always slow to adapt, and it has this image of being stuffy, people in libraries with books and doing things manually. And it took COVID to revolutionize law, where everybody started doing video calls online and working more agile basis. And I certainly revolutionized my own law firm in that way.
Right.
I was working in the office for 12 hours a day before COVID. And now I work from home and I see my kids and my wife, and it's much better for me. And I try to encourage all my staff to do that as well, as much as they can. We still have an office in London. And I think maybe it's an age thing. Younger people like to be more sociable and be in the office. But older people like me, we're quite happy to be at home with our families, and it works well. So we have some people in the office, some people out of the office, and we get together every now and then for socials.
Oh, that's nice. So it's changed rapidly with you being home. I'm sure the wife must be very happy with that.
Well, my wife is also my business partner. So I
Oh,
do
okay.
immigration, she does family law. But yeah, we see each other probably 24 hours a day, but we survive.
You make it through.
Exactly, yes.
So tell us a little bit about Lawyery. What is your role in there, and what do you do? What is the firm about?
Well, Lawyery is primarily an immigration law firm, and I have been an immigration lawyer since I started law, and I qualified in 2001. So that's been some time now. So I've seen a lot of schemes come and go, a lot of applicants come and go, and at the moment I'm concentrating more on the business side of immigration law. So things like the skilled worker visa, sponsor licenses, Innovator Founder visa, and more and more nowadays the self-sponsorship as well. So that sort of covers what I'm doing. I'm helping a lot of companies, but also entrepreneurs who want to set up their own business in the UK, or I think there's a growing amount of companies who want to set up a branch office in the UK as well. So then we have the expansion visa for that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of new schemes that the Home Office have launched over the last few years, and it's certainly keeping me busy.
So what keeps you, like, what motivates you about starting a business in the UK? Like, why are you so passionate about, in the first podcast as well, we spoke about the Innovator Founder, and it's
Mhm.
recently switched from the Innovator to the Innovator Founder. So what makes you so passionate about people wanting to start businesses in the UK?
I think it's just really great to be part of that process. I set up my own business and I was really enthusiastic about that. And if you're helping someone in their journey, you get caught up in it. You can't help but get caught up in it. And the whole enthusiasm and excitement of running a business and to be a trusted advisor to somebody who's doing that, I can be part of that. Like, for example, a few of my clients who I'm advising at the moment, I'm not just doing legal side. At the weekend, I was found myself doing company logos for some of my
Oh,
clients, and this was totally. They didn't even ask me to do it. I just like got so excited about their concept that I like playing around with Canva. So I just made up some logos and sent it off to them. I haven't even had the feedback yet whether they appreciate this or not.
yeah. Wow, that's
But
interesting.
but yeah, this is me. I like to get involved in things and caught up in things, and it keeps me interested in the law rather than just doing contracts and boring stuff like that.
So, the Innovator Founder visa, for people who don't know what this visa is, could you please explain it in layman terms?
Yeah, sure. Basically, it's a visa that the Home Office set up. They used to have an entrepreneur visa a few years back, and you got certain points for different skills, like what's your education, what's your background, etc. Um, your previous job history. You got points for that. But the Home Office didn't like that. They found that a lot of people who were on the entrepreneur visa were ending up doing uh, jobs that were not at the right level. So they rejigged it around. They launched the Innovator visa instead, which encourages somebody to not work for a company, but to set up their own business venture. And the point of it was hopefully this will give a boost to the UK economy. People will create jobs, they'll create revenue, and it will be good for the entrepreneur themselves because it's the shortest route to indefinite leave to remain potentially under the rules. It's only 3 years instead of the normal 5 years for a skilled worker visa. And so it was a really interesting concept that came up. And I got quite a few people who were interested in it. I've helped people along the way and I've helped people develop their plans. And the way that it works is that you have to take your plan first, not directly to the Home Office, but you take it to an endorsing body who have been contracted by the Home Office to sift through the applications and find applications that will actually, in theory, work and have an innovation core concept behind it. So that's why it's called the Innovator Visa. You can't just go with a bog standard business. You've got to have some sort of innovation, even if it's a standard business, but you have to show there's an innovation side to it, something new that you're introducing. So, for example, if you're a recruitment company, but you're recruiting in a different way, you're cutting out the middleman, you're using algorithms to find better matches, things like that. You have to show what your innovation is. You have to also show that the business can scale. So you have to have ambition behind your business, that you're not just going to be based in London, but you're going to go beyond that, potentially nationally, internationally, Europe, America, wherever. And then the other thing is the viability, and the viability is important. A lot of people forget about that part. And the viability is what are your figures? Do the maths add up? What's your background as a founder yourself? How do you have you done something like this before? Is it related to what you studied? So things like that. So it's really for me. I think it's a really good visa to have. I think it's a bit restrictive. Um, or for example, a student who's going into it for the first time. But one of the great things about it is that there's no real minimum um, uh, investment you have to make when you're getting the visa. You have to, at the end of it, when you're applying for indefinite leave to remain, you have to have invested a minimum of 50,000. But you
Yeah,
certainly don't have to have that money up front.
right.
But it depends on very much on what your business plan is expecting you to spend and whether that's realistic and you can still achieve what you want to achieve with that initial investment, because maybe you're going to grow, you're going to have subscribers, you're going to have customers to take you up to the other level.
Most people kind of question and do not understand what innovation is. And having known the fact that you have reviewed a few business plans and you've spoken to many, many founders and helped them in this journey, what do you think is innovation? And how does one get out of that bubble and realize that I am creating an innovative business, or this is not innovative, I need to rework on my idea?
I think the main thing that you normally would have a gut feeling if you have an innovation, and that innovation will either be something technical or something new. So you can have something new without being technical. For example, I've worked with somebody who had a great idea, but it was to do totally with something he was making. It was an old school traditional invention with nothing online at all.
Right.
But it was something that he was able to patent and get a patent for that. So you got IP protection, and nobody else has that idea, and so that's innovation. But obviously, most people nowadays think that innovation is something that has to be tech related. So you've got an AI idea, or you've got something to do with blockchain, or something like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you will get an endorsement. And in fact, I think we've all heard feedback now from endorsing bodies who've been interviewed that say often they see a lot of people who just throw these words around. Oh, this is going to be this idea, but we're going to have AI with it. And that's not enough. You've got to show actually what is the AI, what is the blockchain, what is, whatever buzzword you're using. How does that actually help the business? What is it doing? That's a core fundamental innovation to improve the experience for the user. And I think that often that helps to you have to be really critical of your idea and start looking out, is there anybody else doing this? And if there isn't, you have to say, maybe I'm not a genius. Maybe the reason people are not doing this is because people don't need it or people don't want it. And that's hard for some people, including me, when I come up with ideas. It's hard to face that fact that this idea is not out there already because it's not needed. And sometimes it's good to have somebody who you can bounce ideas around with, like a co-founder or an advisor, and therefore it gives you that. So you're not in an echo chamber. You're able to have a critical voice there who's not harmful but actually trying to help you.
No, this reminds me of the conversation sometimes I have with founders, and even as a founder myself, I think sometimes we're so stuck up thinking that whatever we're thinking is right and the idea is very innovative and everything is great, and we're just trying to tell them that it's not. Because sometimes I have these conversations where they'll be like, no, but this is how I'm trying to do it, but this is how I'm trying to explain this thing. And I'm like, but it's quite clear it's not innovative. You're just trying to do something you've seen somewhere else, and maybe it's a service, maybe it's a product that you're building, but it's not. And that's where I believe firms like yourself come into the picture and help people to understand and realize that yes, you're working on something great, it could be a good business, but it's probably not innovative. And these are some ways, based on your experience or based on your context, that you could possibly think about turning this into an innovative idea. But on that note, what kind of services does Lawyery provide, and what kind of support do you provide to founders who want to apply for the Innovator Founder?
Well, what we do is we are lawyers, so we help you do all the paperwork that's needed to make the application to apply for endorsement, and then to make the application to apply for the Home Office visa. But I tend to find that we go a bit beyond that, because we do end up mentoring people and giving advice that's potentially more business advice than legal advice, and that just happens naturally if you get on with somebody and you get involved in their project. And I think that most good lawyers would not just a good lawyer is not just there to tell you what the law is; they're there to tell you how actually your idea fits into that, or how it can fit into that if you make some changes to it, and therefore to help tailor the process for you, rather than just say, this is what the law is, now come and give me everything that I need.
Yeah.
That's a very tick box process. I don't think that those type of lawyers are that successful, because people can do that themselves, really, if they wanted to, or they can ask, chat GPT for a tick box. So I think
Yeah.
you've got to tailor yourself more to the human being who's the other side of the equation, who's your client, and help them actually build something that will be successful. And that's what we do at Lawyery.
Right. So we have kind of covered this side of your background, which is Lawyery. And now I would love to learn more about what is the ukinnovator.online, what inspired you or what motivated you to start this?
Yes, thank you. So last time I spoke to you, that wasn't there.
Yes, it wasn't
And
there.
it's this is the culmination of, really, as I said, this summer I've been playing around with AI tools, and I've been trying out various different ideas. And for me, this was the one that hit home most, as to how this could help my clients. And because I'm getting more and more, I think the Home Office are channeling people towards the Innovator Founder visa. And because of that, I'm getting more and more people inquiring with me about this. And the number one inquiry I get is, do you think my business idea is a good idea? Do you think it will meet the requirements? Do you think I will get endorsement? And it's a really hard call for a lawyer to make, because I'm not an endorsing body.
Yeah.
I'm not the Home Office, so I can't make these type of guarantees to people. And also, it's very hard sometimes to tell people, no,
Yeah.
you've got a very bad idea. But you have to do it if they're asking you this. And it takes a lot of time to try and take an idea and then explain to my clients, well, this is how the endorsing body is going to look at it. This is the type of things they're going to use to assess you. And therefore, we have to develop the idea into something that will work. And so this is the point of UK Innovator Online, where I've put all of this knowledge from the Home Office, from endorsing bodies, what they've put online, and from my own experience. And I've put it into an app that people can use online. And it's a free app. And the app will take your idea. You can put your idea in anonymously. It doesn't ask for any of your personal details. And then it will tell you, on a rough basis, it's not a guaranteed. Again, that it's not giving legal advice. It's not an endorsing body. It's not the Home Office. It's not affiliated with any of those. But based on the information I've given it, it will tell you what it thinks about your idea, and it will look at it the way that the Home Office has developed the assessment. So it looks at innovation, it looks at scalability, it looks at viability, and it also looks at the general what's out there. So it will do a search as well. If you've told it an idea, it will see if anything else similar to that is out there, and it will tell you that. It will also give you feedback. I think up to 10 points of feedback that you could use to potentially enhance or improve your idea. So it's not just there to give you just a yes or no, but it's there to help you as well along the way. But it's meant
Right.
there as it's very clear that it's a pre-assessment. It's not the main assessment. It's not any guarantee, but it's something you can do. But if you have an idea, you just want to test it out before you speak to somebody about it.
So what would the best stage be for someone to put their ideas into this platform? Is it when they have an idea? Is it when they worked on the business plan? What is the best time?
Yeah, I think you can put it in at any time, because there's two different types of assessment on there. There's the quick assessment, and then there's a detailed assessment. So the quick assessment, you can just put an idea in there, and it will then expand from what you've said, and give you a score, give you all of the feedback that you would get with a detailed one. But the detailed one is obviously a more effective score, because it has more information to work with. And so the detailed one is once you've maybe taken the idea a bit more seriously, and you've started thinking about it, and you've started thinking about how you're going to market it, how you're going to fund it, things like that. So there are these two different ways that you can look at it. You get the same type of feedback, but definitely the detailed assessment takes maybe about 15 minutes to fill that one out, as opposed to 5 minutes for the quick assessment. But I would always recommend trying both out,
Yeah.
depending on different stages that you're at.
And what about user privacy? Because a lot of people are very hesitant to share their ideas, and if they put it on the platform, do they need to worry about anything that their ideas will be exposed or anything like that? Although more and more people are becoming comfortable sharing their ideas, but especially with the Innovator Founder, I know sometimes I get
Mhm.
emails. Can we please sign an NDA before I even tell you about my idea? And I'm like, okay, let's go ahead with it. So how does UK Innovator help provide that privacy for the user?
Well, I mean, I as a lawyer myself, I know that these protections are important. So I've used NDAs myself, and
Yeah.
I think you know that, because
Yes.
we I think we signed an NDA ourselves
Yes.
before in the past.
Yes.
But um, definitely NDAs have their place when an idea is valuable. But I think an idea is only valuable if you've taken action on it.
Hmm.
And so it depends how far down the route you are. Certainly, the nothing is foolproof, and this is something that is on the web. It does use AI, so your idea is not 100% just stuck on the website. It is going out. However, we've tried to minimize the risk of data breaches. For example, we don't take any personal information from the user. It's in completely anonymized. So it's really just looking at the plan. It's not asking anything about you. Um, and also, it's up to you how much you put in onto it.
Right.
It's totally voluntary. You don't have to put essential details if you don't want. You can just give a general idea. The whole point is that it will extrapolate from that. And it will potentially, maybe even suggest what you were thinking on the suggestions, the 10 suggestions. It's up to you what you reveal. Certainly, the AI side of things, we use Grok AI, and that's the enterprise version of Grok, which has a user agreement that none of the information that is sent to Grok for the assessment for is used in trading purposes. So in that respect, it's secure that it's not going to get out for the in that respect. But you can never 100% protect something once it's online. And my advice would be, if you feel your idea is really valuable, then go straight to the lawyer. Don't play around with something online until you've had it protected. And that's what we're here for. Is like, I just wanted to have something in between going to see a lawyer and just to help you develop your idea.
We spoke about innovation. So, how does the platform decide whether your idea is innovative or not for people who want to assess the level of innovation they're building into their business?
Well, I mean, I've built an algorithm um, where I put in the guidance from the Home Office, the guidance from Innovator Founders, plus my own experience, and it will feed that in to the AI so that AI can make a decision. Plus, the AI will also have its own background searches as well. It does an online search as well,
Yeah.
but it's got these guidance. It's got this these prompts, this algorithm there in place to give it ideas and to give it structure as well for giving feedback. It seems to be working quite well at the moment. I've done quite a bit of feedback. I've even shown it to some endorsing bodies and
Yeah.
had feedback from them. And in fact, they want more personalized feedback, right, which conflict a bit with the anonymity side of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe something for a future version once we have our security sorted out. I mean, it's very much a lone venture at the moment with little funding,
Yeah.
but hopefully, these things will grow. And the point was to get the idea out there, to get the concept out there, get people thinking about it, and especially to get interest in the UK Innovator Founder visa, because I think it's still a really good visa to have. But a lot of people just didn't understand how they're going to be assessed. And that's the point of this. This shows you, this is more a teaching tool to show you how you would be assessed in real life without spending £1,000 on consultations here and there.
Yeah.
And also it gives you the feedback as well. So you can self-improve.
You mentioned about the endorsing bodies. I was just about to ask you, have you had any conversations with them? Are they thinking to have a version of this on their platforms for people to like do a pre-assessment of their applications before they pay the £1,000 fee?
I don't know if they're thinking of having a version themselves. It's always a bit risky. If they're an endorsing body and, for example, someone gives them a score, someone gets a score of, say, 9 out of 10, and then suddenly when the main application comes in, it's not it's not
Yeah,
going to be the same. So I think
yeah,
for them, there's a risk assessment that they have to go through, and that's why. I mean, one of the things I should make clear is that yes, I have Lawyery as my company, which is a law firm, but UK Innovator was prepared and published as a separate company. So
right.
it's run by a different. It's not run by a law firm. It's not giving legal advice, but it was in consultation with, and so we helped make it. And in fact, I mean, I'm the primary driver of both companies, but I was putting on my innovator hat more than my lawyer hat. So I was
Right.
looking at it from that point of view. How could I, if I was an innovator, what type of help would I need? Rather than I'm a lawyer giving advice, because then you're much more restricted if you're trying to give legal advice. And the tool would be unworkable.
No, but as someone who's spoken to so many people who want to apply for this visa scheme and
Mm-hmm.
want to understand better about the innovator founder and the process and the endorsement and how to know whether the idea is innovative or not, I think this is going to be a very, very resourceful tool for anybody who's on their student visas or skilled worker visas, because even people on skilled worker visas are becoming interested into the in the innovator founder now, because they've got these ideas and they feel that this particular visa gives them the room to start something and launch a venture. And a tool like UK Innovator will be very, very useful in that early stage where, I mean, as a founder myself, I would not want people to drop their ideas just because the process looks so overwhelming. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for doing this and creating this so that more and more people can, venture into this and find out whether this is for them or not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's exactly the attitude that someone should have when they're using the tool. They're not coming to give their confidential information to a lawyer to take
Yeah.
an application on. You're building something. You want to try something out. It's as if you were talking to your friend about the idea. If you're comfortable to talk to your friend about it, then you should be comfortable talking to UK Innovator about it.
Wonderful. What's your long-term vision with this? What do you plan to do once more and more people come and start using the platform?
Well, I mean, I want to keep it up. I want to try and keep it free as long as possible. It may well be that if there's enough demand, we could potentially go for a freemium version, like to do the quick assessment, and then we could, if we want to develop the detailed assessment to try and get it more accurate, and potentially then, as I've been asked to by endorsers to maybe make it more personal as well, then
Yeah.
we need to have more security, and it might have to be a paid version for that. But that's a way in the future. I mean, certainly for the moment, we're just in a beta, and I'm happy to take feedback from people and from anyone who uses it. Actually, yeah, my contact details will be around there, so I can be contacted and have some feedback. If you see something that you think on you would like to have that feature, I'd be quite willing to look at that. So it's a two-way process, really. And the more people use it, the more I'll be able to make it a better tool. And that's what it is. It's a tool.
Right. I'm going to link all the details in the caption as well so that people can use the tool and also reach out to you just in case they want to speak
Yeah,
further about
definitely.
their
Yeah.
ideas.
And you
Well,
know what,
even,
Shiv? I'll give
yeah,
you we have quite a few ideas, um,
yes.
especially immigration related. I've given you a preview of something that we're not talking about today, but it's
Yeah,
quite exciting that there's new things on the horizon, maybe even by the end of this month. So watch this space.
absolutely. And I'm looking forward to it myself to try the platform out. I'm not going to say anything, but yes, yeah, we're waiting for the launch.
Excellent.
And you mentioned about the UK Innovator as more of a consultation one. So tell us a little bit about the Innovator.legal. I think that's more towards the legal side of things, is it?
Exactly. That's a companion website I've launched
Okay.
because with Lawyery, we have a page about Innovator um, uh, on there, but obviously we offer so many different legal services at Lawyery to do with immigration and family law and employment law. So I wanted to have a dedicated page just for innovators to go to if they want to take that next step to get advice. And so
Right.
I tied it in. So we have UK Innovator Online, but then we have Innovator.legal, which is the new website, literally just launched last week. And in that website, it sets out how we can help you at Lawyery, what services we offer, like I was talking to you before, our fixed fees for these services, different packages depending on what you need. And also, it has a link to our last webinar that we had, our last podcast. So
Yeah.
thank you for allowing me to have that on there.
Oh, pleasure's mine.
And basically, the whole point is to try and understand and break it down for the innovators who are looking for legal advice as to how they can find that advice, where they can find that advice, what resources are available for them online. So we have a resources page on there as well. And basically, how we can then take you to the next step. So this is the first step, UK Innovator Online, then Lawyery or Innovator Legal are the next step.
Right. So for any founder who is applying for their Innovator Founder, one of the questions again I get asked is, do they need to have their companies registered before they even apply? So what are some of the legalities that any founder should be aware of before they apply for
Mm.
an endorsement? Or there's nothing they need to worry about and just apply with their business plan?
It depends really on how much time you have.
Right.
Certainly, the theory is that you can just have a business idea and approach the endorsing body. But the reality is that if you have the time and you're already launching, then that's okay. You can have a pre-launched business, and you can show that you're some way off the way there. They
Yeah.
will basically endorse you based on what you're presenting to them at the time. I mean, sometimes I tell my clients to, you don't want to spend a fortune on a pre-endorsement application,
Yeah.
because if you don't get your endorsement, what are you going to do? You've already spent 5-10 grand on launching a company and putting money into it and paying legal costs, etc. So sometimes you have to remember that your focus should be on getting an endorsement first,
Right.
and that can be done just purely on an idea or on a skeleton of a company. You don't have to be. You could have potentially launched a company, have the idea, but maybe not have made any money yet.
Right. And another thing that I would like to cover in this podcast is, if your idea is, say, patentable, do they need to have applied for it already? Or can they just have a screenshot to say that, yes, it's not been trademarked or whatever, and they can eventually do it? Should they be going ahead filing
Yeah.
anything before the endorsement?
Again, that depends on you. I mean, the quicker you file, the better, really,
Right.
because you're protecting your idea. But you have to remember that the patent is one of the targets for settlement.
Right.
So that's the important thing. So if you uh, patent too early and then you don't get endorsement, then what's the point again? You've spent money on something that potentially you're going to throw away because you're not going to pursue this idea.
Yeah.
So I would always advise my clients to protect as much as you can, but potentially you're not going to lose the patent just by showing it to an endorsing body. That's still confidential.
Yeah.
So I think you have to, before you launch the business, then you need to protect yourself.
Right.
But I've worked with people who have patents pending, and I've worked with people who have patents as well. So it very much depends on what you want to do, how how dangerous it is to not patent.
Well, so there's the full package then, from pre-assessment to starting a company and making sure that all the legalities are in place. One can come to you.
Well, yes, hopefully, yes, you can come to me in my company. I'm not saying I'm the only company out there, but I
Yeah.
think that the way we look at things, we look at the whole picture. We're holistic. We're not here to be salesperson. We're not going to take on every person that comes to us. We will take on applications that are good and applications that have a potential. We will help you to build that potential to make it into the right idea. And that's what we're here for. I really am excited about helping people. I hope that comes across today in my talk and our conversation. But I'm not here. I'm not driving a Porsche. I'm not a millionaire. And that's because I'm more selective in who I help and why I help them.
It's the best time to reach out to you for someone who wants to apply.
I think you need to give a good few months to prepare your plan.
Right.
I would say I don't like it. I've done cases where we've had 1 month left, but it's really stressful for everybody.
Yeah.
So give at least 6 months to
Okay.
to um, to give yourself the chance to do the best business plan
Right.
and get the best advice. But at any stage, we will talk to people. I always do a first free appointment, so
Hmm.
someone can come online, talk to me, and we'll see where we go from there.
The final question. What is the one way? And I think this is something I've started to focus more and more on, and and we just spoke about this as well, how the government is kind of making amends to the visa to help students prepare better for the Innovator Founder.
Hmm.
What do you think can students do during their graduate route, during those 18 to 24 months, that will help them prepare better for the Innovator Founder visa applications?
I think definitely work experience and internships
Yeah.
in business. So if you come out of university with a degree and then you're going to do a business, if you don't have that background, if you've not worked in business pre-degree, if you don't have a family background in business, then you need to fill in that gap. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for you to. Because one of the things they look at is it's not just the idea; they're looking at you as a founder.
Yeah.
Are you the person to bring this idea to the market? Are you a suitable person to get through the tough times that innovator founders go through? Because it's
Yeah.
not just a golden visa that you're given. It's really tough. I think you would agree that it's really tough to keep going for 3 years without getting income from
Been there,
anywhere
done
else.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
So so you've got to be the right type of person and understand how business works and understand how to get through the good times as well as the bad times, or the bad times as well as the good times, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, internships are really important. I think that really helps to show that you have business knowledge.
Right, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for doing this without being told to do this, because I understand you're so passionate about entrepreneurship. You're so passionate about the Innovator Founder, and I'm having had those conversations. I understand how important these two tools are for founders. Because I once started and they didn't exist, and I just had to
Hmm.
figure out everything, and there was no Chat GPT as well, so I had to Google everything. So now having this pre-assessment tool is going to be super, super useful for new founders, young graduates, professionals who want to apply for the Innovator Founder. How does one reach you if they want to get to Innovator, ukinnovator.online, or to the legal side of things as well?
Well, I mean, you can just do a Google search for me. I should be there. My email is above, chris.diaz@lawyery.co, not .com. It's not a wrong. A lot of people put .com, but it's .co. Um, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and I try to reply to all my messages.
Perfect. I'll
Don't
also leave those
don't
things in
phone
the
me. I have to
caption.
say because I'm one of these people. I don't answer my phone, but I'm more to answering emails and things like that.
Right, got it. I'll remember that too, because from the last WhatsApp, I think it took a while for the reply. So now I know.
Now you
Now I
know
know.
exactly. Yes.
Email it is. Email or LinkedIn message it is. Yeah.
Perfect.
No worries. I'll leave all the details in the caption, but thank you so much, Chris, one more time for building these resources and taking the time out from your experience and from the extensive knowledge that you've gathered after speaking to so many founders. And thank you so much for your time today as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me online.